Donald Trump had a perhaps telling brain fart, or maybe it was something more during an interview about his health. He was talking about Fred Trump. He said he had one problem. At a certain age, about 86, 87, he started getting, what do they call it? He pointed to his forehead and looked to Karoline Leavitt, his press secretary, for the word that escaped him. She said, Alzheimer's. Trump said, like an Alzheimer's thing. Well, I don't have it. Is it something you think about at all? The journalist asked, and he said, no, I don't think about it at all. You know why? Because whatever it is, my attitude is whatever. That's not great. If the topic is all, remember, he's being interviewed about his health, and he's like, my dad had brain melty. What's it called when brain melty out of ears? And Karoline Leavitt, who was already thinking about Alzheimer's at that point in the conversation, just blurts it out. If we could get an audio recording of her internal monologue during all of this, that would be money. But unfortunately, we don't have it. And so, yeah, he doesn't have it. No dementia for him. He aced his cognitive exams or whatever, Elliot. But it is still a very strange thing to not be able to come up with the word for.
Oh, incredible. I don't know if it counts as like a Freudian slip necessarily, because usually with that, you're supposed to actually say something. But maybe it is, because given the nature of Alzheimer's, it would make sense that it completely falls out of his head. Now, I did see something, John, on Instagram a couple days ago from a psychic who said that Donald Trump might very well be leaving his mortal coil on February 17th. Or somewhere around then. Now, I have no reason not to believe a psychic, but I just want you to be aware of that so we can all be emotionally preparing in the event that it comes true.
Yeah, I like to place my emotions, my psychological state on wild conspiracy theories. Yes. So February 17th, either Trump's gonna kick the bucket, or the secret episode of Stranger Things is finally actually gonna be released. It's gonna be one of those two, everybody. Anyway, we'll see. Not speaking to psychics, but can those witches curse Trump? Have they reloaded yet? Can they put a little hex, a little curse? I don't know. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit more about the interview that Trump had about his health. This is how he started it off. He says, let's sit for a couple minutes. I hate to waste a lot of time on this, but if you're gonna write a bad story about my health, I'm gonna sue the ass off of New York Magazine. There will be a time when you can write that story. Maybe in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. 5 years, no one is gonna care, I guess. Go ahead and sit down. Jesus, he agreed to the interview. He's not being ambushed in the street. This is his, yeah, he seems confident about his health if this is his stance towards it. Anyway, there is concern, and not just amongst crazy liberals or whatever. Apparently some right wingers felt a little bit strange about a reference he made recently. So back when Jimmy Carter's casket was being displayed at the US Capitol, he apparently told the room, within 10 years, that will be me. And there's been all of these references that he's made about potentially dying, about not going to heaven and that sort of thing. Like, it very much does seem to be on his mind, to the extent that his mind can form thoughts and then express them. It is a thing that he seems to be worried about, Elliot. Maybe it's just, as you get older, it's natural to worry about that. But a lot of people speculate that it's tied to the medical exams he's had. I don't know, where do you come down on that?
Yeah, I definitely think he is having to face mortality. Also, in terms of whether he's dying, yeah, he's absolutely dying. I mean, when you get that old, that's just kind of what happens. I think the question is how quickly he's dying or not dying. And when he's talking about like the World Cup and the Olympics and that being a gift from God, I can only imagine he's building a case for when he arrives at the pearly gates, so he can be like, "But you gave me the World Cup. I mean, why you have to let me in?" So I think there's something like that going on, because I don't think he understands how it actually works to get into heaven. I don't think he understands a lot of how anything works.
Yeah, when I think about what the state of his body must be like I'm in my early 40s. And everything hurts and is sore all the time. And I exercise. I eat healthy, okay? By that I mean I eat the protein Pop-Tarts. And everything is constantly hurting. Like I played golf this weekend and I'm sore in parts of my body I didn't even think golf knew existed. And so he's many years older than me. He doesn't exercise aside from the golf that he plays. He apparently doesn't eat healthy. We'll get into all this. Like, he's gotta be feeling it from the top of his head down to his cankles. He's gotta feel it manifesting. But anyway, let's dive into some of the other stuff that was discussed in this interview. During an interview in the Oval Office with New York Magazine, Trump was pressed about the infamous MRI that he let slip in an interview he had done at his totally normal, like twice a year physical he was having going on. He said, "It was the worst effing thing I ever did, and I blame them," pointing at his physician, Dr. Sean Barbarella, and Dr. James Jones, the president's former medical advisor. "Can you explain why you asked me that?" Trump added, shaking his head. "Stupidest thing I've ever done." Trump added that nothing specific prompted him to get the scan, saying, quote, "It's because the machine was sitting there. I'm sitting right next to it." And that's basically how medical exams work. Be careful where you walk in a hospital, because they will strap you into any machine you happen to come into close proximity with. But anyway, he's not mad because of the test. He's mad because he blurted it out, and it caused all this hubbub about the fact that he was getting, well, now they're saying it wasn't an MRI, it was some other scan or whatever. But like, he's mad at them when he was the guy that revealed it. That's the way he thinks. But anyway, let's just quickly scan through some of the other health issues that have been concerned, because they popped up in this interview. So the author, Ben Terris, describes Trump's hand bruises, saying his right hand warm and soft during our handshake, which looked like rhino hide on the back, dry and gray, the notorious bruise spread out like an ink blot test. Trump said this is only from shaking hands, rubbing his left thumb over the back of his right hand. "Can you just verify that?" he asks to his doctor. The doctor, who's looming nearby, says, "Absolutely." He's a short man with close cropped hair and a nervous smile. Is that Bovino pretending to be a doctor? I don't know. Anyway, he says, "I've seen the president shaking hands for over an hour." Trump held up his non-shaking hand. "Look, this one's perfect. People say, 'What beautiful skin you have.'" Is he in a fairy tale? Is he the wolf actually underneath the white hair? So anyway, first of all, his other hand has recently been bruised too. Remember, he apparently knocked it into a table, and so he got a massive circular bruise there. He also said that he had a failed high five attempt with Kristi Noem, and her rings cut his hand, and that's why he had all the splotches or whatever. I'm not buying any of this stuff. But anyway, they describe his diet, famously terrible. One senior White House official says he eats a ton of candy and he eats meat, no vegetables. He doesn't believe in exercise. Recently, after he'd been dealing with swelling in his lower legs and ankles owing to his circulatory condition, doctors recommended he walk more. He asked his staff if there was anything else he could do instead. It's walking, that's the last thing. If you're not walking, you're literally just lying down at that point, and that's not exercise, okay? He definitely ain't doing sit-ups. What do you want? By the way, doesn't he walk while he's playing golf? Like, he's gotta be getting some steps in there, Elliot, right? I mean, if like that is too high of a bar, just walking around, don't tell me you're a Superman, as all the staff were telling this reporter, and that you're gonna last forever. You must think that you're on pretty shaky physical ground. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is just unbelievable. And it also, there's a sadness, I think, associated just in terms of how insecure someone can be. You don't want to see anybody age not gracefully, but my goodness, he is taking the cake. Speaking of cake, a diet of candy and meat is one of the funniest things I've ever heard of in my life. I can only assume it's on one platter of just, a barbecue, ribs, and Smarties, I would imagine. It's unbelievable.
Oh, Smarties. Really, really fast. Trump blamed women's fingernails and rings for the cuts on his right hand. He's just shaking so many. By the way, have you ever seen him shake hands for an hour? Like, if he does this routinely, like at his rallies, you don't think that they would do a quick fast forward video that they put out or something to justify? I've literally never seen it. And it was apparently Pam Bondi that he had the failed high five attempt. He cites the fact that he aced 3 recent cognitive tests, saying, "I've taken a lot of them. I've aced all of them because I drink milk." Which, what? I don't think that's how it works. And then I want to end with this. So the topic of Obama came up during this interview. And Leavitt said to Jones, one of the medical advisors, says, "You worked for the Obamas, didn't you?" Jones says, "Yes, I did." He worked from 2009 to 2018 as a senior medical leader in the White House. Obama obviously was pretty young when he was president. He was rumored to allow himself precisely 7 almonds a night, which is strange. Who is healthier, Obama or President Trump? The journalist asks. Trump stared across the desk, making eye contact with Jones. Jones didn't hesitate. "President Trump," he said. Trump nodded. There was no sign of a smile, as if there could not have been any other answer to that question. "Write that," he said, turning to me. And in fact, Ben Terris did write that. He wrote that entire strange interaction. The idea is in better shape than Obama is so strange. But I'm gonna end with this. Friend of the show, Jules Sazdaltsev said, he tweeted, "Republicans talk about Donald Trump the way you talk about a sick old dog before it dies. He is so sharp and alert." Yeah, okay, my condolences. Just exactly, like, come on, be realistic, man. Anyway, we have serious news to turn to about other topics. We'll get to that in just a sec. First, I want to thank Nader NYC on Twitch for 4 months. Thank you. Garden Dragon for 35 months. AJ Nestor for 66. Says you can buy a terrific bidet seat for about $400 and it will change your life. Believe me. That still sounds like a lot of money. $400 for a bidet seat? I don't know. Maybe I need to comparison shop. With the cost of everything going up, here at TYT, we're always trying to help you guys out and save you some money. Your cell phone bill is the last place you should be getting ripped off. But if you're with Verizon or AT&T, chances are you're way overpaying for the plan you're on. That's why TYT is teaming up with Noble Mobile, the only cell phone plan that pays you to use your phone less. With their Noble plan, get unlimited data for only $50 a month. But the real game changer is the cash back you get for your unused data. The less data you use, the more cash back you get. It's a win-win. Stop letting big wireless rip you off. Choose a company that aligns with your values and isn't trying to milk you for every last cent. And by switching to Noble, you're directly supporting TYT in our mission of bringing you honest, independent news. So give Noble a try and make the switch today. Scan the QR code on the screen now or visit go.tyt.com/plan. That's go.tyt.com/plan.